Good evening, my friends. It's VJ Franz K. I thought we would do a short video on RC505 tips and tricks because a lot of the same questions seem to come up in the Facebook discussion group. So, thought I would cover that. Anyway, here is the RC505. One of my important tips is to make yourself a session that is ready with all of your favorite effects and other settings set up in the system already. So, you may adjust the tempo to a tempo that you like, your compressor settings, master reverb, turn it up or turn it down to 0, depending on what you're doing. Get your effects set in a way that you like. For example, here is a beat, and notice I have set a simple beat rather than one of the complicated ones. It's just enough to get me on time if I'm just looping the voice, and it's just enough to compare to another drum machine if that is what I want to use. And I have the delay already set. Edit. I have the delay already set to a common value, so it's ready to adjust to what tempos that I might want to use. See, it's on the time. By default, this is not set to a number, it's set to a time, but that is a very unuseful default. So panning delay, weird synth parameter. I've been trying to learn to use that, even though it's not really that useful. It still takes a lot to make it work, and because of that, I have my favorite voice effects over here. It's a TC Helicon voice tone synth. They don't make these anymore, actually. But a lot of different interesting auto-tune type effects, voice changing, different settings that you can use, and then also it's got a vocoder built in. So that's really interesting for electronic music or hip-hop or experimental music where you may want to change your voice in interesting ways. So over here I have my new Deluge drum machine, which I'm very happy with, and I'll talk about that in the next video. But it is connected by MIDI to keep the tempo between them synchronized. But something a lot of people do wrong, and I did this wrong first when I tried it, is you want to have your drum machine be the MIDI master of the tempo, but I have found that the RC505 works a lot better if it is the MIDI master, if it is running the tempo, than if some other machine is controlling it. That's just the way it goes. So I do suggest that use your MIDI out into the cable and then use the MIDI in on your drum machine or other devices so that it keeps it nice and in sync, and there will be no choppiness in the audio, no audio artifacts. What do we mean by audio artifacts? What do we mean by audio artifacts? By audio artifact. What do we mean by audio artifact? 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 You can hear it's getting choppy. What do we mean because the tempo is changing? What do we mean by audio artifact? And that is kind of cool in a way, but it is also, it is a very sort of electronic choppy sound. So unfortunately, there's not really a way around that with this machine. so you have to learn to live with it in some way. But the best way to learn to live with it is don't change the tempo from the original tempo that the audio was recorded at. What do we mean by audio artifact? What do we mean by... Anyway, so that's good. Let's see, what else can I tell you with this setup? Oh, yes, I forgot to mention, you notice it is in this soft case, which was originally designed for a Microkorg style keyboard, but it happens to fit the RC505 quite nicely, with just enough room for my favorite voice effect over here. And I could have more of those if I wanted to, but I'll probably, get a larger, hard case like a DJ box or something for this. But this has been quite useful for me, just going around and performing with a minimal setup. Here is, headphone style cable ready to receive input from the iPad or other small things, and cable goes right here to the aux in. Don't forget that you have the aux in to use as well as the instrument ins, so that can be cool, but I suggest do not plug in the aux in when you're not using it, because that will introduce noise into your sound. And, you don't want noise. You want your sound to be as clean as possible, except if you do want it to be noisy. Noise can produce feedback if you're using a microphone, so be very careful with that. The microphone I'm using, it's a lot like an SM57 or 58, but in this case it's an Electro Voice. I just like it a little bit better, the character of this mic. Just about anything will work. I suggest try mics out if you can at the store or at your friend's studio or something like that. What else can I tell you here? Let's see. I guess we're about ready to discuss the drum machine factor, and that is a cool way to do things. Sometimes, there's a bug sometimes which will make the loop stick, and I've heard that it is a very short loop. A very short loop will sometimes get jammed. A very short loop. Sometimes a very short loop will get jammed. Sometimes a very short loop will get jammed. Sometimes a very short loop will get jammed.
Smash stick will be little sheriff that smashed my...
Sometimes.
Very short.
Sometimes a very short loop will get jammed. But practice with the vinyl flick effect if you actually want to learn to use it, because it's kind of confusing to make it work, but once you sort of get the idea of it, you do. If you just use it from it's how long it takes for, it's like a vinyl record being stopped on the turntable. So, is it just use it from, if you just use it from, is it a long, just use it from, you just use, if you just use,
If you just say this week.
If you just see, you can get a little bit of a vinyl sound from it like that, but it takes practice, and I'm kind of out of practice using that, so still fun. It can be amusing when people think you're just using a regular voice and suddenly it sounds like it's on a turntable. Granular delay, that's a weird effect. Notice all of these on my usual set. I've set the effects as multiple mode. Yeah. You can set your input effects and your track effects to multi or single. I do suggest multi just because it gives you a little more flexibility. But there are reasons you might want to do single also. So just think that over. Learn to use all of the menus here. They are all there for a reason. And I do suggest setting your loop length to auto, even though sometimes it does have that bug. Try to get it to I'll try to get it to do that. I'll try to get it to do that. I'll try to get it to do that. I'll try to get it that. I'll try to get it to do that. I'll try to get to that. I'll try to get it to that. I'll try to get it to that. I'll try to get. Anyway, so it is what it is. It's a very good machine. Practice a lot with it, and you'll find your hands just learn where all the controls are, and then you'll just be ready to use it instantly. And at first I wondered, why are these sliders so loose? They feel really loose, but the fact is that they're less like volume faders and they're more like a DJ crossfader on a turntable or something. So you could start doing fading tricks like that with your sound just going up and down with those for interesting effects. And of course, know that you do have your secondary volume setting on each track. Play level. See, it's at 100, but you can turn it all the way up to 200 if you need it to be louder than when you first recorded it. So that can be really handy. Let's see, I'm sure I will think of more things for this video. I'll do a more organized video later on, but I just thought you might find some of this interesting. And if you have any questions, please ask at the bottom of the video. Please subscribe to VJ Franz K. I like to do this. Yes, thank you for watching. This is the high-tech lifestyle, and we are living it to the fullest. Check out the next video to see the RC505 with drum machine.